Welcome, welcome. We are thrilled to be here tonight. Oh my gosh, so much work goes into this hour. It's really incredible how much work behind the scenes goes into this hour. So we are going to talk fall fashions, and I am just really excited. Before we talk about fall fashions, I can't get my head off of what's happening in South Texas. All of us, I'm sure, know throughout the world that a horrible storm has hit South Texas, and it has annihilated numerous counties. So we had a meeting this morning. We're quickly reshuffling within silhouette patterns. We've got people volunteering, What we're going to do is we're going to do a couple things together. For our 30,000 YouTube viewers, we are going to have a sew-along. We are going to have that sew-along this Thursday. We are going to have that sew-along at 3 p.m. our time. It's going to be live. We're going to sew one of our new patterns, which is the bomber jacket. We'll post it, so you don't have to be live, but we are going to at the same time have a fundraiser for those people in South Texas. Dallas is really pulling together strongly because they need everything. If you feel like you want to donate something, ship it to us. We'll make sure it gets to Houston. They have donation centers. We're going to ask for monetary contributions. We'll give those monetary contributions to the Red Cross. A friend of my friend works with the Red Cross. I talked to her today, and she'll make sure everything gets straight to Houston. It's just for Houston. So we're going to have a sew-along. It is going to be a new pattern. It's going to be to celebrate our YouTube, and it's going to be as a donation to the South Texas Harvey storm. So we haven't even got all of that up on the site. We'll get it all up, and we'll do the next live webcast on Thursday. That will be in place of our Thursday normal webcast that we do, which is why we wanted to do it Thursday, and we'll do it on the bomber jacket. That's a lot. That's a lot to take on. It's a lot for us to juggle behind the scenes, but everybody's committed to helping those South Texas people out. I don't even have to go into how horrible it is. It's horrible. I do know that I grew up in South Florida. I grew up in Miami. And when Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, many of you may have some memory of that, I know that I was not able to contact my parents for several days. And I remember driving along, because I was not in Dallas, I was out of town, and thinking, how could some places be so much at peace while others are going through such catastrophe? It was so fascinating to me that it was so devastating to so many and yet so few in the grand scheme of things. So they need our help. They really need our help. And I remember thinking that I wished people would help my parents. It's time for me to kind of lead a little bit of helping. So we'll give everything plus to those hurricane victims. Okay? All right. So now let's talk fall, because we can contribute money and we can maybe contribute some goods, but there's not a lot we can do. You can't even get into Houston. Airports are shut down, etc., etc. So let's talk fall fashion, and we might as well sew. Our trends this season, the silhouettes that are the main silhouettes are bomber jackets. Bomber jackets. So I had to do a bomber jackets. Many of you have said to me, what's the closest thing you have to a bomber jacket? And really, this should have come out last spring in retro. Sometimes it's hard for me to do a jacket in spring, but it probably should have been. They've been kind of precursor, and wham, they're huge this fall. So we did a bomber jacket. So this is the cover. This one right here is the cover. Did a navy. It's kind of a navy floral, which all of those things are Navy's a color that's for fall. I'll go over colors in a minute. Florals are a fabric that's for fall. And of course the bomber jacket is the silhouette. It's a home run. I do not have that fabric. That fabric was something that I got, and I only had 2 yards. But I do have this fabric. We'll have it up after the webcast. Again, stripes are everywhere for fall, so this is a bomber jacket that we did in lots of colors. I know that you can't see the lines yet. You can go to the website, you can click on the bomber jacket, the picture is up. If you click on the back, what I want you to notice is a couple things that were important to me. A bomber jacket to have a set-in sleeve. I did not want a raglan because again, with a jacket, when we're making it out of heavier fabrics, there's a lot of wrinkling that takes place, so I wanted a set-in. This is pattern number 927. It's called Leslie's Bomber Jacket, and the reason it was named after Leslie is a great customer in Colorado, and she, you know, I had the bomber jacket done. I was going to do it, and at the last minute she said, well, take and silhouette that shaping up into the neckline. So if you notice, it's a princess seam, but it goes into the neckline, both in the front as well as the back. And again, with this particular one, you can't see it. It almost have to be a solid, but the princess seam goes into the neckline. So this is a beautiful back. It's really beautiful. And again, a beautiful front, but it is a set-in sleeve. Bomber jackets, I did this one without a pocket. There is a welt that is done on the bomber jacket. It's a single welt. So it's a wide welt that flips up. Great method is included in the pattern to do that. Bomber jackets, what we're seeing in bomber jackets is light, very lightweight fabrics. Don't feel like you have to contrast them with ribbing. They're actually being done with any knit coordinate. So a lot of bomber jackets are, again, I want you to kind of think of that concept I introduced a little while ago, which was an accessory item. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing bomber jackets as accessory items. They're not for warmth. They're not for any of those things. So don't feel like you can't make them a little bit small. They don't have to zip up. They can if you want them, but to never close them and never zip them up is okay also. And again, the fabrics are all over the place. But I'm seeing a lot of fabrics you can see through. I'm trying to think, you know, those circles, the circles that we have on our website right now, where they're very light, very easy. I want to say seersucker. I want to, you know, those light fabrics. Even though I'm aware it's for fall, the fabrics are still really light and very floral. Ellie Tahari. There were several other names that I saw that had bomber jackets, but were lacy, see-through. Not what you'd typically think of as a bomber jacket. It's a very feminine touch to that bomber jacket. Yes, were you going to say anything? Okay. All right, so silhouette bomber jacket. Other silhouette, trench coat, big everywhere again, laminated, plaids. All of our plaids are going to be neutral this fall. You don't have a lot of vivacious color in plaids. You have a lot of neutral plaids. And then the other silhouette that I wanted to show you was the moto jacket. We came out with this, I think, last year, the year before, I don't remember. But this is it. It's a double-breasted, it's exactly what this is. It's called the moto jacket. You don't want to make this to fit either. Again, this is an accessory. Don't make this to close. It's worn open, and it really looks like a jean jacket. It's just not done. This is pattern 914. It's called Tina's Asymmetrical Jacket. Notice the laminated leather. Even though kind of when I did this, I was a little bit ahead of time, laminated leather is everywhere for fall. It's really, really popular. So we have the silhouettes, we have the trench coat, the bomber jacket, and the moto jacket. Then we have wraps. I wore this wrap tonight simply because they're just everywhere again. We've done so many of them. I definitely don't think we need to do another wrap. If I see something fabulous, I'll let you know. But we have done some great wraps, George's wraps, all kinds. Fringe is a part for fall. So we want to make sure that we use all these variations as we do these wraps. They're very pricey. They're very easy to duplicate. They're a lot of fun to duplicate. They're great for holiday gifts. They're great for just, you know, thanking somebody for being a good friend gift. They really are terrific for all those occasions. Okay, so our silhouettes, our trench coat, our bomber jacket, the moto jacket, and our wraps. Those are the four main silhouettes we'll see this fall. Then I'm going to bring in colors, and I want to talk about color a little bit. You know, as I went to Neiman's, to Saks, to Nordstrom's, to different stores, really there definitely wasn't one fall strong color. As I asked sales clerks, what's the one best color you'd say this fall? 5 clerks, I got 5 answers. So That's good news, because fuchsia is a color, hot pink, that we're seeing a lot. And what that means is from runway to store to home, if we don't like fuchsia, if we don't wear hot pink, we don't have to worry about it. We can go into the navies and the wines, because the navy and the wine is being shown a lot. Neutral plaids, so think earth tone plaids, your browns, your greens, all of just earth tones, that plaids, but not bright colors in plaids. They're very neutral colors. But the gold, the wine, gold is the color that's being shown, and yet I didn't see it in the store. So sometimes what's shown on runway doesn't translate into the stores, and you're seeing, and most of fall has been delivered, and there's a lot of fall in the stores right now. So, but I didn't pick up on a lot of gold, even though that's one of the stronger trends, and you saw it a lot on the runway. Okay, the one strong trend in jewelry is pearls. Everywhere. Pearl earrings, pearl necklace, and we have them. We have them on the website under fabrics. If you look under fabrics, we've got some beautiful pearl necklace, pearl bracelet, pearl earrings. They're absolutely to die for. They're just right in. We've only had them for a little while. I knew they were coming for fall, and I had a couple necklaces made by my jeweler friend in Fort Worth area. Really, really beautiful stuff. All right. One thing we're going to see is florals. And so florals and ruffles, both of those trends are really strong and in. So in a response to that, we did a twisted blouse. This is pattern number 617. This is a Marc Jacob. So we called it Marc's Twisted Blouse. Now let me show you the original first. I'm going to take and push this back a little bit, pull this out a little bit. And it is white, and white doesn't do really well on our camera, so we didn't want to leave it up front the whole time. We'll push it back a little bit. But this is, the basic is off our classic blouse. It's a beautiful blouse, absolutely beautiful. Very easy to do, not difficult. I really am pleased at how easy it is. You just got to follow along the directions. You know, kind of like Nikki's top, there was a anticipation that, oh, it's too hard, it's too complex, it's whatever. It's just not. Again, step by step, it twists, it sews together. Very flattering. Very flattering. This really takes the place. It kind of hides the tummy, covers the tummy, all of the above. And then on the side, it has this is a woven, for a woven garment. Let me go back on that bomber jacket just for a minute. I made a knit and a woven. So the bomber jacket, the pattern can be done knit or woven. Doesn't make a difference. In this particular pattern, same thing. I did it for a woven. It has an invisible zipper on the side. That is just to open up the waist so that you can get it off of your bust. But I'm going to push that back a little bit, because also what I did just for tonight is I went ahead and I made this up in a knit, and I love it. I mean, absolutely love it. Forget the invisible zipper. You just sew the side seam up. You don't worry about it. Slip it over your head. It's a quick slip on, and it's really, I just love it. I mean, I was going to wear it, but once we got on camera, it's like, whoa, you can't have that on all night long. Nobody will be able to watch. So I'm going to show it to you, show how great it is. It's absolutely adorable. What I did is I used my armhole template and then my knit sleeve. So you use your knit armhole and your knit sleeve, put it on the woven blouse, because this is going to come in as a blouse pattern, and then just transfer that. In fact, while we're on that whole concept, I want to back up a little bit. I was in Boston over the weekend, got home yesterday, and you know, wonderful workshop. Great women. Again, you guys know this is my absolute favorite thing to do, is to teach these workshops. Armhole template, armhole sleeve. I just want to kind of go over it and just make sure everybody's aware of it. As many times as I've said it, the ladies just weren't certain of how to do and what to do. So I want to kind of just run through it again and just take a few minutes away, and then we'll come back to our trends. So let me just say that when I am using, I'm going to take it through the whole process. Let's say that I have a blouse that I like, and many of you come back to me and say, I don't have a blouse I like. That's not doable. I can't do that. So you don't have, it doesn't have to fit everywhere. You just have to get it on your upper body. So let's say you go blouse shopping, you find a blouse, it buttons at the bust and doesn't button all the way down. That's an armhole and sleeve you can use. And the reason I encourage that is simply because if you don't do that, you're going to spend a lot of time trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And I just hate to see you waste that time. It really is kind of a waste where we can jump there and get it there much faster. So then what we did is we measured the circumference of the sleeve. So if I have a blouse, I measure the circumference of the sleeve and I measure it right through the cap line. Now I also tonight, I know we have a lot of webcasts, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad because there's so much information out there you just don't know where to go next. But recently I did a webcast on 4 things that I want, 4 tips. And one of them, or 3 tips, I can't remember, but it was just a little bit ago. And one of those was the armhole and sleeve and the templates and making those relationships, because I do believe strongly that our nemesis is armholes and sleeves. I think it stops us from sewing, and this makes it so easy that once we get this armhole and sleeve, we feel free. We have so much freedom. It's so much easier for us to deal with. So I measure the circumference of a blouse. I pick that sleeve out of my silhouette pattern, and I take the armhole that goes with it. Literally, I just trace the armhole onto anything, a piece of paper. And as long as I trace that armhole, then I can take it to any garment I'm making, and I can put it at the shoulder, I can put it at the side seam. Those are 2 points where I can place it down, and bam, I don't have to deal with armholes and sleeves anymore. I'm going to do that to a knit. I'm going to do that to a woven, and then I'm going to do that to a jacket. But right now, what I did to this blouse, to Mark's twisted blouse, is I took my knit template, I put it at the shoulder seam, I put it at the side seam. I had to extend the side seam up a little bit between those 2 points, and I sewed in my knit sleeve. It was that easy. Go back and get that down to where you recognize the armholes and sleeves, the relationships between the two, and you'll find it so simple and so easy. You'll love it. You'll just say, wow, I can do this, and this really takes away all my issues with armholes and sleeves. And it does. It resolves them one time and we're done. No more. Okay. So we've got a bomber jacket, ruffles, soft, gathers, all of those things. Mark's twisted blouse is a perfect example for fall of the soft, feminine look. And what I love about this pattern is it's a beautiful combination between tailored, which is where you have a little bit of a collar here, it's a shawl collar, and the twist in the front. So you could easily wear this if you were going to work and had a jacket over, nobody would see that, and then it's really playful, and it dresses up, it goes down, it goes either way. All right, I want to talk about, are we okay? Questions or anything?
If we do,
okay. All right, so I want to talk about looks a little bit. Obviously I shop, you all know that, and I'm representing us. I'm shopping for all of us is what I'm doing. So I'm always wanting to report back on what I've found. One of the things I've found is they're using the wrong side of the fabric for the right side of the blouse. Tommy Bahama is especially guilty of this, but I've seen it in several others. When I first saw it, I asked the clerk specifically, they're using the wrong side of the blouse. And she said, oh, she didn't even notice, didn't even faze her, didn't even know. And I said, that's really interesting. It's the wrong side. She goes, oh, I hadn't even noticed. You're right. It is the wrong side. She goes, well, we've just got these in, but people really like them because they're kind of like faded. They're deconstructed. They're worn looking. And that is a very popular trend for fall, is that deconstructed, worn look. Manufacturers in the past have done stone washing. This is even cheaper. Just use the wrong side and it already looks worn. So I decided to wait a while, and I waited a couple weeks, and I went back to the same store. And I was amazed because I thought, at first I couldn't find any, and I thought, no, I'm sure this is the store. I'm sure this is where it was. And I looked and looked and looked, and I found one. There was one left. And so I said to the clerk again, I said, different clerk, I said, this is the wrong side of the fabric. She goes, it is. And I said, why would you all use the wrong side of the fabric? And she said, because it looks worn, and women love that look. It's a very casual, laid-back look. But when you open the collar, it's the right side is shown on the inside. So it's a really interesting look. And I think, as so many of us have said, okay, well, which side do I use? Right side or wrong side? Right side or wrong side? Never before have we really been given permission so much as we have currently to use the side you like. And so what if it's the wrong side? It's the side that's selling. And there was, out of all those shirts that I saw initially when I visited that store, there was one left. And the clerk even said, oh yeah, it's a great look. Women love it. We've done really well with those. Yeah, they did, because I bet they had 60 of these tops in, and they were well over $100. They only had one left a couple weeks later. So they were doing very well with this particular product. So use any side of the fabric you like. And again, that deconstructed look is very popular. Deconstructed meaning edges aren't finished. You know, the wrong side's out. Just a very unfinished, per se, we might call it, look as to the garment and what it's looking like. Glitter is big. Velvet is big. We have actually a velvet fold over trim. We'll get it up as soon, you know, we're a little behind the 8 ball here as far as the website goes, but we'll get it all up this week. A velvet fold over trim. Absolutely beautiful. Just really beautiful. Velvet is big for fall. If you don't like velvet, and if you don't feel you want to go that whole entire look, you can just put a little velvet trim on a t-shirt. It'll be a great hit. I've seen it numerous places. We already have it in. I anticipate that it will do very well and do very strong. We'll get it up. We'll get it up by tomorrow for the email. All right. So then, on the Marc Jacobs top, what is the fabric? This is our white. There's a white fabric that we have on the site. It's a white stretch is what it is. It does not have to be a stretch fabric, a stretch woven, but I went ahead and did it out of a stretch woven. I'm not sure of the name of the fabric.
Shirting from France.
What is it?
The white cotton shirting from France.
White cotton shirting from France. Wash it in Coca-Cola. A couple people have gotten it and said it's really stiff. Wash it in Coca-Cola. It doesn't matter that it's white. It won't go dingy on you. Wash it in Coca-Cola numerous times, and it's perfect for shirts. It's really, really nice. Oh, that I don't think we have any more of. Click on that.
So that's the wrong one.
No, that's the wrong one. Sorry.
Okay,
Hang on.
that's the wrong one.
We'll get you the right one here. But go past that. Brett will look for it for a little bit. And then we'll come back to it. Okay. Which one is it? Yeah, that's it. Number
1328.
Number 1328 is the fabric. So you can just search in the search for 1328 or go in the fabric. But that has a little bit of body to it, and that you can wash in Coca-Cola, like I was said. Wouldn't that not accentuate a large tummy? It does not. It's above the tummy, number 1, and it doesn't. We've tried it on numerous different body types. It is terrific. Again, keep in mind lots of different fabrics that you can make it out of. We've got so many great cottons right now, cotton wovens, that a lightweight cotton woven. This is actually a pretty stiff fabric, and even when I have it on, it does not. It's just, you know, because this one is white, because that one is wild, I was going to wear them tonight, and it's too much for the camera. I can't wear white, and I can't wear all those crazy stripes, so I zeroed out. But I know you'll love the blouse. It's really, really beautiful. I've had the blouse for a little while. It's been one of my favorites that I've worn. I had it in a white, I wore it out, and I decided I needed to make a new one, and I figured at the same time I might as well make a pattern. And I shied away from it because I worried it would be too difficult to sew. It's not. You're going to do fine. Okay, so then with our wrap look, we have a new pattern, and this is called BCBG's Wrap Top. This is just a really fun wrap. It is something you'll want to use two-sided fabric with because both sides will show. You don't have to make a long sleeve. I'm going to turn it around to the back. It's almost like it makes a little cowl in the front, and then the back. It's absolutely beautiful. I know it's hard to see the back of the there. You can see it's kind of stitched down to where it's just really pretty. This was a top done, I'm going to show you, by BCBG. I'm going to show you the original. The original was done in knitting, sleeveless. So you can see there it is. And of course, again, stitched down in the back, exactly the same. So it can be done, it does need to be done out of a knitted fabric, out of a knit fabric. And so, but the cool thing is the wrap or the overlay, because it's only attached in the back, can be sheer fabrics, beautiful embroidered fabrics. Just the sky's the limit as to what you can do. Great edging. There's another one I did, and it's I don't have it with me because we're at my house and it was at the office. We used it on the PBS show that we filmed last week, and so I just didn't have it. But it's a fabric that I had online, and it's kind of a beigey, lacy, because again, neutrals are big, lace is big, and it has a border going all the way around. It's just really, really beautiful, but I didn't have it here tonight. So that will really, I felt like we had so many different wraps. I really wanted to do a wrap top that was built into the top, and I absolutely love that one, and it's very, very flattering on. It's very pretty. Okay.
Very good.
Okay, then also what I wanted to show you was Ayakila's asymmetric. Asymmetrics are all over the place. Patchwork, fringe. I'm going to go back and say, I hate to say hippie, but if I say hippie, y'all will understand kind of what I'm talking about. Kind of hippie. The asymmetric hems, the asymmetric tops, going to one side, the bottoms being different. Embroidery, the fringe, all of those things kind of remind me of the 60s and the hippie era, if we can so categorize it as that. And so this is the top that we did because of its asymmetric. It's just beautiful. We had a pattern like this that was, I mean, you know, it was good. We sold out of it. I decided not to reprint it because the asymmetric is so quickly changing. But asymmetric right now is actually double at the top and going to single at the bottom. And there's a lot out there. This is actually named Ayakila because Hugo Boss, this is a top Hugo Boss did. Ayakila was the name of the top on the tag. And so that's where the name is coming from. So Hugo Boss did this. I did this, and you may not be able to see, but this is a ribbing and a regular fabric that were coordinated to match one another. The belt is the elastic, and that is in the pattern as to how to do it, and the belt buckle, that's all on the notion list. This is a fold-over elastic at the neckline. You don't have to do it like that, but it's just a really fun way to do it. Textures are really big for fall, and so this is a great top to use textures on. If you have fabric that's, you have a little bit, you can do, the sleeve actually attaches to this side, and this sleeve attaches to this side, so you can actually use two different fabrics and use a little bit of each to get what you want. I want to show you the other one that I did. And of course I paired this with pearls because pearls are so pretty. We actually have this fabric, and I'm not sure that you're aware, but I'll show you. It's the back side. So one side is the right side of the fabric, one is the wrong side of the fabric, and we'll have this fabric up a little bit later on tonight as well. But this is beautiful. This is a Rebecca Taylor fabric. It's a knit. Absolutely gorgeous, and again, we pulled it together with a fold-over elastic at the neck. You do not have to. You can just turn them over together, and you can stitch them as you go. And then, of course, the back, again, that's the wrong side of the fabric and the right side of the fabric. And whenever you're going to do this, make this part, make it the darker, and then make the lighter the accent. And it's going to work in your behalf to where you can see that it really works as an accent. And you can also see how slimming it is on the body. I'm always making sure you guys look your best so you don't ever have to worry about that. Okay. Can you lift the front piece? Sure. Okay. keep in mind that the goal of all of these patterns, I'm not going to bring a pattern in that doesn't make you look your best. So, but we do want you to watch your fabrics and how you make it. Is the gray top made from one piece of fabric? The gray top. Which one's the gray top? Yes, it's one piece of fabric. It's the back side, it's the right side and the wrong side of the fabric. It's really not a gray, although I'm sure it looks gray. It's actually a, it's like a, well, it's like a wine. It's like a rose. And it's rose and black, but it's a very light colored rose. So it's pinky. It's really beautiful. It's pinky and it stretches. It's really pretty. Anyway, like I said, we'll have it up later. We'll have a good clear picture. We've already taken the photos. The picture's really clear. You'll see that it's a little pinky color. As far as the coloration goes, it's not a gray. It's much prettier than a gray. Leather fabrics. 4 fabrics I want to talk about because this is the time to do it. Fabrics are leather, fur, and velvet. Oh, that's 3. Sorry. Leather and pants. But it doesn't mean you can't do leather bomber jacket and jeans. That would be a great look. Fur, and then velvet. And of course, velvet came onto the scene kind of late last year, but velvet's all over the place. Fur and velvet. So what we're seeing is just tons and tons, and I said it a little bit ago, we're seeing a lot of texture. Tons of texture. And that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I personally love texture. I was working on a project, and I had to do a collection, and anyway, it seems like everything that has texture in it I like. So there's something about the texture and the fabrics that is just absolutely beautiful, and it really works well. All right. One shoulder. One shoulder exposed. We've had the cold shoulder, and that's kind of, you're not seeing a lot of that for fall, but you are seeing a lot of one shoulder, and that kind of surprises me because one shoulder is colder than cold shoulder, and it's going to be cold for fall. But again, we're not worried about temperatures. There's a lot of asymmetric looks. That's what I did with that asymmetric, but they're showing one shoulder to be bare, and then patchwork. Just everything patchwork. You could do a bomber jacket with patchwork. That would be really fun to do something like that. So you want to take the silhouettes, take the colors, take the fabrics, and then take the trends, and just kind of mix them all up and know that it will look great for fall because there's a lot of fun stuff to do. And there's also, what I've noticed is there's a wide enough range that it'll be really easy to come up with some really fun garments for you. Okay. Anything else tonight?
Will you have any laminated leather and velvet?
We will not have we have velvet coming in. We have fur coming in. We will not have laminated leather. We have the leather, we have the black, and we have the brown, and we have the red on our site. And so those to me are basics of leather. When we get into all the laminations, we don't want to be a leather store. We just want to give you a little tidbit. So that I would recommend going to Leather Impact. And they have such an array and color, we couldn't even compete. We just couldn't even go there. So I would default you to Leather Impact on that one. Okay. So our 4 patterns. Is the red top a Ponte knit? No, it's lighter. It's a cotton knit. It's a cotton knit. It's lighter than that. You could do it in a Ponte. You could. Because it's very... it's not... It's just really... I've made it several times, and I just really like it. There's just lots of fun things you can do. You can do a sheer on one side, and then of course do both sleeves to match. You're going to find that there's... I'm really counting on you guys to give us lots of variations, because my mind has got, I mean, we've been working on these for a while now. And as I make a second sample or a third sample, I've made some of them 3 or 4 times, I just oh, we could do this. I mean, I have so many ideas, but you all will take it to another level. And so my job is to put them out there, and your job is to make them fabulous. How's that? Your job is to make them fabulous. When you say velvet, is that the silk rayon velvet or synthetics? No, it'll be a synthetic. The silk rayon velvet is really, it's almost too difficult to work with. The new velvets are really easy to work with. They iron, they press. They're so nice that silk rayon velvets really aren't even seen anymore. I hate to say that, but they're just really too difficult. The velvets they still have nap, all of that, but you can sew them without any problem. You can press them without any problem. I mean, there's some beautiful stuff. Like I said, we've got some on order. It'll be a couple weeks before we get them all, but I'm really looking forward to getting them. The fur as well. We'll do some little fur webcasts so you can understand how to sew them, and we'll make sure you're fashionable, forward, you look great. I'm telling you, we'll watch it. We'll make sure that you're looking really good. Will the tops and wraps work in a slinky type knit? They will. All of the tops will. The jean jacket, not the jean jacket, the bomber jacket would work in a slinky knit. It'd be fun in a slinky knit because, again, when I saw these bomber jackets, and I've seen so many of them throughout the different stores that I've gone to, they've had them in silk, they've had them in knits, but the ribbing, which used to be ribbing of long ago, is not ribbing anymore. It's just knit. So it has to be knit on the bottom because that's the look, to get them over your hand. But it just doesn't have to be ribbing. Any knit will work and any knit will do. And the fun thing is you can find a lot of coordinating fabric colors that look really well together. And I think that that's going to be a really fun thing to do. This is an 18-inch zipper that's down the front here. We've got lots of great zippers for you, so you don't need to worry about how are you going to find a zipper to match. We've got the black and the silver, and both of them are popular. We've got the black and the gold, so whichever one works for you, it definitely will work. Okay, how many yards on the red? Well, I've got the pattern right here. So the 60-inch wide is 2 yards. Okay. Are the fur fabrics washable? They are. You just can't put heat to them. You have to be careful. Low temperature, pressing you can, but sometimes when you put too much heat, they'll melt. So you just have to be careful of that. And there are some stunning furs. Really, really beautiful. The push is constantly for the faux fur as opposed to the real fur. If you're in those colder regions, faux fur is not going to be warm like the real fur is, so many women still go to the real fur. The real fur is extremely expensive, just simply because of the limitations of animals and those type of things. Prices continually go up. There was a few furs I looked at. I was at Neiman's, and there was, $30,000, $13,000, $8,000, $5,000. I couldn't find anything. I didn't see anything under $5,000. But they are beautiful. They really are beautiful. If you like a warm climate, down here in Texas, we don't have a warm climate, so I like the look more than anything. And so faux fur for me works really well, and I, spare the animals. That's kind of how I look at it. But everybody's different. Everybody has their free will to do what they want to do. All right, so we are going to wrap up a little bit early tonight. You have it all. You have everything. I do want to say one thing. I don't see, with regard to animal prints and leather and those things that were popular last season, I don't see a huge shift for this season, except the silhouettes. The trench coat, obviously, that's a classic, and it's still coming out in laminated leather. It's still coming out in eyelets and laces and things of those nature. They're not all long. They're coming out as an accessory piece of wardrobe as opposed to a functionality. It doesn't mean you can't take the same pattern and make it twice. Make it once for fun and then make it a second time for functionality to keep you warm. And shearling is really big. There's so many things that are really strong that are just fun. But what I was going to say is the bomber jacket and the moto jacket, those two things are really huge. We did not see those we saw the moto jacket, but not near as much as we're seeing it this fall. But the bomber jacket is really strong. I wanted to mention one thing about boots, because I know a lot of you go and start buying boots right now. Over the knee, those boots are still really stylish. If you remember, I bought mine a couple years ago, and I'm excited because I get to wear them. I love wearing them, and I haven't worn them that much. Obviously, I live in Dallas, Texas, but every chance I get, I put them on. And the heel height, that chunky heel is really stylish, and every time I look at it, I think, oh my gosh, I remember when I was in high school, that chunky heel was really popular. But it is a stylish thing that is, it's all over the place. What we know about shoes is almost everything across the board stays in style, except for the chunky. The chunky is specific to this season. It was not around last season, so that chunky heel is going to be kind of the trend. And if you want to buy a new shoe and buy a chunky, I probably wouldn't put a lot of money into it because it's probably not going to be around very long. I don't think as women we really like them. The wedge is still in. All those things are still in. Flats, fortunately, too many women love flats. They're going to be in because we don't want to wear heels anymore. We want to wear limited heels, etc., etc. So lots of variations for shoes. I don't think you need to necessarily buy anything new, but if you are buying something new, look for the chunky heel and an over-the-knee boot. Get that over-the-knee boot. Y'all know I love that. Leggings aren't going anywhere. Yoga pants aren't going anywhere. They're all here to stay. And so we get to bring out our old. Well, later on, not next time, but the next time, we're going to have a pulling together of all of our fall wardrobes so we can take what we have from old and put it into the new so that we can really make a great fall wardrobe. We've got a month or so to sew before it really starts to get cold. So this is the time. Let's put the pedal to the metal and let's get a whole new collection sewn so that we really will love what we're wearing, we'll be comfortable, we'll look great. That's the goal. All right, so we will email you in the morning all about our sew along on Thursday, where we're going to sew the bomber jacket. Even if you don't have your new patterns by then, we're going to put it up so that you can watch it over and over, and I'm just going to jump into that sewing room and be your little sewing buddy, and we're going to sew it together. Even if it's after the fact, you can do one step, pause it, one step. It would be like a live guide sheet. You don't even need to look at the guide sheet. All right, so happy sewing. We'll email all this out to you in the morning. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy Labor Day. Rest from all of your work just for one day. Take a break. Put your feet up. Have some hamburger and fries. That's a Labor Day to me. Other than that, think about our Houston friends, and our thoughts and prayers are with you down there in that devastating area. See you in 2 weeks. Bye. Happy sewing.